As part of his efforts in following up the measures taken by the official institutions in relation to the COVID-19 pandemic and the repercussions of that, His Majesty chaired the meeting of the National Policy Council with the presence of His Royal Highness Al Hussein bin Abdullah II, the Crown Prince, may God bless him. The King stressed the importance of associating the reopening of industries with strict controls, health and safety controls to safeguard the health of citizens, and he stressed the importance that this should be based on a well-drafted and well-developed strategy. He also instructed that there should be a comprehensive study by the Ministry of Health and the Royal Medical Services as to the health and medical plan for the coming months in terms of the number of beds, the medical staff at the ICUs, the ventilators, the COVID-19 detectors, and the treatment services delivered at hospitals in general. His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince, stressed that it is important to scale up the number of tests over the coming period in concurrence with the reopening of the industries, because the number of tests conducted is the indicator that is accurate and that is more important to evaluate the epidemic situation best. Today, the Ministers' Council had a meeting chaired by the Prime Minister, Dr. Omar Al-Razzaz, where we discussed a number of elements related to the stage of adaptation with coronavirus and the consequences that follow to that. In addition to studying a number of recommendations issued by the ad hoc committees and issued by the work by the team of sustaining work, supply, and production chains. And that is in relation to reopening the essential industries as per specified controls. The Minister of Industry shall announce the decisions that were taken in this regard. Today, we decided, and upon the recommendation of the Ministry of Transportation, we decided to reopen the public transportation system with all of its means of transport at a percentage that does not go beyond 50% as of next Wednesday, throughout the kingdom. And that is in order to ensure that the reopening of the commercial and industrial sectors is associated with transportation that will serve the employee in those sectors. The operation of the public transportation vehicle is going to be based on the plate numbers, whether they end with an even number or an odd number, and that will be reviewed in 2 weeks. And the Ministry of Transportation is going to announce the details in that regard in the coming few hours. The Ministers' Council also discussed the work mechanism at the and it decided to continue the shutdown of the public departments and institutions starting from May the 2nd, 2020 till the end of Ramadan. And the shutdown decision excludes essential governmental industries. The nature of their work requires otherwise, and that will be defined by the respective minister at a percentage that does not go beyond of 30% of the employees therein. And should necessity arise in essential sectors, this percentage may be increased. However, it should not go beyond 50% of the number of employees, and that number should be enough to sustain the work and deliver services to citizens and ensure that this is all in compliance with the health and safety measures. The shutdown decision excludes industries in the private sectors that will be defined by the defense orders that will be issued in this regard. It also excludes the banking institutions which are licensed to operate based upon the decision of the central bank governor, and the medical staff and health staff in both public and private sectors. The Treasury shall bear all the costs of interests of the loans that are granted to SMEs in order to finance the salaries of the employees therein, as their businesses have halted during the pandemic. And there will be instructions that in this regard that we will publish soon. As for the enterprises that are allowed to operate, we have regretfully noticed that some do not comply with the health requirements and measures and with the health guidelines and safety requirements. This is why we stress the importance of complying with that and having employees and customers comply with the health instructions and wear masks and gloves and ensure that there are distances between persons and using sanitizers in a regular manner. And we warn that if any enterprise does not comply with that, the license shall be revoked and they will be closed down, because these practices is a threat to the health of citizens and may, God forbid, take us to square one. As for the restaurants and the sweet shops which met the requirements and standards, they were granted the licenses and they started their work today. And as for the restaurants and as for the restaurants and sweet shops that were compliant with the requirements and who received the licenses, they started their work. However, they only deliver or the customers pick up on location. And we are considering extending their business hours. And there is this hotline 91040, and this is the hotline that citizens can use to report any violation for the health and safety requirements. And we're working on issuing licenses for other restaurants who meet these requirements and controls. May God protect you, protect your health. May God bless this country and its leadership and protect the whole humanity from this pandemic. We are at your service and we succeed if you comply with these instructions. The Minister of Industry. In the name of God, most merciful, most compassionate, good afternoon and كل عام وأنتم بخير. Our colleagues at the Ministry of Industry and Trade at the Department of Controlling and controlling markets and inspecting them, we noticed today that there is an increase in the prices of some food items. There will be a decision imposing price ceilings, whether it is in the market in general or the Center for Wholesales, and we will take the strictest measures with whoever violates these price ceilings, and we hope that everybody will comply. Now, as for the economic sectors, be it industrial or commercial, after discussing with the experts and with the Chamber of Industry, Jordan Chamber of Industry, in relation to reopening these industries and the percentage of employees who will be allowed to work, these percentages are going to be promptly reviewed and studied in cooperation with the specialized committees. Therefore, we decided to increase this percentage, so the sectors that are allowed to reopen, be it commercial, the commercial ones will operate with 60% of their employees rather than 30%. Also in the industrial sectors who are allowed now to work at the percentage of 60% rather than 30%. The industrial sector is now allowed to have a night shift with 40% of the employee. We all look forward for the reopening of the economy and for the normal life to come back. So it is just like it was before the crisis, or maybe better, but we're all witnessing the developments that are happening, and we in the government are reviewing our measures and adapting them accordingly. May God bless the country, its great people, and its wise leader. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Today, There have been 3 cases of COVID-19 positive. They are 4 drivers. One of them is at the borders and the other had entered yesterday, and we redid the exam, and the result was positive. The other case was, the third was for a child who is a contact of her father and mother who are at the hospital. She's 5 years old. She contracted the virus from her parents. Her test was negative previously, but now she contracted the virus, and we wish her and everybody full recovery. Therefore, the total infection rate is now 443. The number at hospitals, the number of patients at hospitals is 99. Today we have 5 cases of recovery. 3 are in Prince Al Hamza, and the rest is in Queen Alia. 2,430 tests were conducted today. In the past 2 days, there were 1,000 tests in the governorates, in the southern governorates, but they were all negative. I want to explain why there is a discrepancy in the numbers of patients at the hospitals. You know that people, the drivers who come from the borders, not of them are Jordanians, and some cannot enter the country, and they'd rather go back home. So when we test them and they are positive, we register them as a number of COVID-19 cases of Jordan, and they wish to go back. And sometimes we test a person, and sometimes when we test a person who had recovered from COVID-19, but we still see that they result positive. Well, this cannot be explained till now. We don't count this as a new contraction, but he is counted as a patient in the hospital. As for the other situation, like the child, she was at hospital and she contracted the virus from her parents. Sometimes this causes the discrepancies in the numbers, but I would like to say that the numbers are accurate and transparent. Today we started the vaccination, giving vaccines for children. The medical centers, which are 700 centers, they are open throughout the kingdom to give the vaccines to children. I think it's the right time now. We are not significantly delayed. And we also started the prenuptial tests in order not to delay the couples that are going to get married. As you know, our epidemic situation and the epidemic statistics are good. For several days there have been no cases registered from within the country, and that is in line with the pace of reopening economies and the reopening of industries. And this is the responsibility that we all share. We all share along with the employers and the household heads. Everybody should make sure to safeguard their health and that of their employees, that of their children, and the economy. And I would like to remind you that we are also interested in safeguarding the health of your customers. This all can be revoked, and all of these measures can be reversed if the health situation gets worse. Our job is to maintain our health and to maintain our economy. It's our duty now to protect our health and to revive our economy. We should protect both the economy and the health, and we can do that. May God protect the country and its leader, and peace be upon you.